Hello, everybody, and welcome to Explorer Classroom. My name is Jennifer Bergen. I am a National Geographic Explorer, and I will be your host today. I am so glad that you are joining us for our very first show of the school year, and I hope that all of you had a fantastic summer break. Welcome back. At National Geographic, we believe that anyone can be an explorer, and that you have the power to make a difference in the world, no matter how old you are. Explorer Classroom is here to inspire you with stories from the field and connect you with our National Geographic Explorers live to answer your questions. Before we get into today's lesson, I'd like to welcome all of our classes who are joining us, especially Selma Street, Paint Branch, and Hoffman Boston Elementary Schools. Hey, All-Stars. Sherwood, Barker, Zan Wesley Holmes, Thomas Jefferson, and Long Beach Middle Schools. Hey, middle schools. Maritime and Science Technical Academy, Zion Lutheran, Cocoa Palms, and Escuela Tribu Viva. We are so glad to have all of you here with us today. Today, our explorer is Ru Somaweera. Ru is a herpetologist, which means he studies reptiles and amphibians. He lives in Perth, Australia, and his research focuses on reptiles far and wide, all the way from crocodiles in the remote Kimberley outback of Australia, to sea snakes in the Indian Ocean, to horned lizards in the high mountains of Sri Lanka. Ru looks at how these reptiles adapt to a changing world. And this map highlights just some of the places that these incredible reptiles are found. Also, where Ru is conducting his research. Ru's home is marked by the yellow icon, and the red points are where his work takes him. Borneo, Bali, Komodo, Ashmore Reef Marine Park, Bangladesh, Kruger National Park in South Africa, Timor-Leste, Papua New Guinea, and the Solomon Islands, just to name a few. Ru will be joining us live today from his home base. But first, he's going to take us into the field, and we're all going to go on a hunt for a very special snake. So while you're watching, I need you to pay close attention. What are Ru and his teammates wearing? And why might they be wearing, what they have on? All right, let's get connected to Ru in Australia.
I'm Ru Somaweera. I'm a National Geographic explorer and an enthusiastic reptile scientist. A scientist that studies reptiles is also called a herpetologist. So since I was a kid, I've been very interested in lizards, snakes, turtles, any reptiles. And that's all what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So now I'm a scientist studying them around the world. Today we are on a hunt, a special hunt in this magnificent wetland. It's behind these trees, there's water. And in these places lives a very special snake, one of the most venomous snakes in the world, the tiger snake. And my team here is on a study, but let me introduce you to a couple of very special people to me. So tiger snakes, compared to most other snakes, are very active during daytime, like early mornings, when it's just getting warm up. And we have two budding scientists in the making. Yes, one.
Hello, my name is Rehan and I'm 12 years old and I love snakes.
And what do you want to become?
I want to become a herpetologist when I grow up.
Oh, music to my ears. This is the other scientist in the making.
Hello, I'm the little girl Nehan and I also love, my favorite subject is science and I'm very excited to try and find the tiger snake.
Ooh. Look at that. Nat Geo in the making. Alright, so the plan is we walk around, we keep an eye on, they live on ground, and just as the sun comes in patches like this, they'll come out of their hiding spots where they spend the night. That could be under a log, under a pile of leaves. They come out for basking because reptiles are cold-blooded, so they need to be heated up to be active. It's not like us. You and I are warm-blooded. we are active even at night time. When it's cold, we can put a jumper on, we can still go out, do things. Not snakes. They need to have warmth. So this is the best time. Eyes out, eyes open. Let's look for one. When you go out looking for snakes, or even if you're not looking for snakes but going for a bushwalk or going on a hike, safety comes first. And for us, boots, right? Or gaiters. So snake bite gaiters, little ones wearing them, wearing boots, keeping your legs and feet safe matters, because most of the bites from snakes happen in your feet.
Did you notice what Ru and his team were wearing? Think about why they might be wearing what they had on. So we heard from Ru that safety is very important when you think about going out into the field. Now we'd love to hear from you. Think about the adventures that you go on, whether you're headed to a local park, to go play a sport, or just exploring around your home. What kind of things do you consider to make sure that you are prepared? Students, go ahead and tell your teachers. And teachers, you can type their answers into the chat bar. All right, let's check out the chat bar. What kinds of things are we seeing? Some of you consider the weather. Yeah, that makes sense. I always want to make sure I know if it's going to rain or not. What are you wearing on your feet? Yes, you do not want to take flip-flops out into the field with Ru, for sure. You want to have the right foot gear. What other things do you need to consider? Safe shoes. Yes, HFB STEM. Yeah, don't take flip-flops exploring unless you're on the beach. That makes sense. Anything else? A helmet. I can imagine helmets are great for sport activities. Some of you consider whether you're in the city versus out in the countryside. Sunscreen. Thank you, Escuela Tribuviva. How to stay safe from bug bites. Yes, Miss Beckett's class. Bug spray. Oh my gosh, a lot of you are saying bug spray. Yeah, we do not want mosquito bites or other kind of bug bites. Pants to protect us from ticks. Long sleeves to protect us from ticks. Oh, and a rain jacket. Excellent job, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing your ideas with us. All right, we're going to head back to Ru and his team, and we're going to see how the hunt for a snake is going.
One effective way to look for small animals is under logs and rocks. But whenever you move something, if you are lifting a rock or a log, that could be home for some animals. So it's very important you safely put it back how you found it. So here is a burrow made by a fox. Right? So places like this provide habitats or safe places for snakes to live. And sometimes you get tiger snakes and other types of snakes like brown snakes living in these burrows when the foxes are not using them. So some animals make burrows and nests that are used by other animals. That's how nature works.
Sometimes when we look for animals, we find other evidences of them. Here's some rabbit poop, and sometimes they also do burrows.
Yeah, so here you actually see like poop in a burrow. So although we don't see the animal there, we know that that animal lives here.
All right, Ru and his sons just described some clues that have been found during their hunt. And they shared that sometimes animals depend on one another in nature. With that in mind, we have a quick poll for you. Did you catch how the tiger snake and the fox are connected? Students, take a look at these options and tell your teacher which letter you think is correct. Teachers, go ahead and type the letter in the chat box. And here are your possible answers. How are tiger snakes and foxes connected? A, the snake cuddles the fox to keep warm. Mhm. B, the fox shares its food with the snake. C, the snake uses the fox's abandoned burrow as a home. Or D, this is all a trick question and none of the above is correct. All right, what are we thinking? All right, it looks like so far 20% of you think a snake will cuddle with a fox for warmth. I love cuddling. 80% of you are thinking the snake uses the fox's abandoned burrow as a home. Oh, now less of you think cuddling, more of you think home. Nobody thinks they're sharing food or this is a trick question? Well, let's leave the poll up for a little bit longer. While we're waiting for everybody to take our poll, we're going to go back to Ru and we're going to see, were they successful? Did they find the tiger snake? Let's find out.
We have a tiger snake here. We found one. So as you can see, they're just coming out of rumination or estivation, which is like hibernating in cold environments. So it's quite skinny, right? But I think it has eaten something. I'm gonna gently pick it up. Now, no snake is dangerous if you leave it alone, right? So there's no snake that's going to chase you down the road and bite you. And also, there's no need to catch a snake unless you are studying them or you are relocating them or you are teaching about them, right? So in this case, this is a project looking at how these snakes are doing in these wetlands and what they are eating and all that. There's multiple ways you can catch a snake. It's trying to bite me.
Oh, it's cool.
Keep your space, please. So I'm using these puncture-proof gloves or snake gloves. So they are specially designed so snakes can't bite through them. Or you can use what Rehan's holding here, a snake hook. There are snake grabbers, snake catchers. There's multiple ways, but these ones, smaller snakes, fast moving, not particularly this one, it's not active yet. These gloves are very effective. All right, so we are going to take some measurements of this and going to show what scientists do. The snake here, taking some measurements, taking lengths. So snakes have their fangs, and as you can see, can you see this tube here? Like that's its tongue, and its tongue has this tube. That's where it breathes. That tube is very important. When the snake is eating something, that's how it keeps on breathing, right? And its fangs are up there, up here. If you let it bite you, it might. Oh, you see that? You see that marks? Yeah. Some of that is saliva, some of that is venom. So there you go, tiger snake. They're called tiger snakes. Oh, the most important thing, they're called tiger snakes because of the color. Normally, a good one would be quite dark with yellow markings, like that of a tiger. But they come in so much, like so many varieties and variations. Like this one, who's a bit brown, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. So now we are all done. And here, now, when you work with dangerous animals, one of the most important things is safety, right? So we'll always carry snake bandages. These are very specialized bandages. If in case of a snake bite, you would put these bandages on, you will put pressure on where the bite happened, and you'll immediately go to a hospital. Now, this is a type of a pressure bandage. See this rectangle? You stretch it till it becomes a square, and that is the right pressure. So if Nihan got bitten here, I would be putting it, starting from where it was. But it's a fair bit of pressure to put. So as you can see, I'm stretching it till that rectangle became a square. I'll go down, keep his fingers out, one round fast, going up all the way. So we carry quite a few of those, and if you can make it stable, that's fine. If not, you can even do this and clip it on and rush to a hospital. As you can see, if you're not moving, if you're not making sudden movements, they're quite calm. snakes are very, very sensitive to like movements and vibrations. And as long as I can stay here, well, he won't be feeling threatened. So I'm going to slowly back out and let it be.
That was incredible, Ru. You and your team did it. They showed us how to safely capture, study, and then release a tiger snake. Now, Ru emphasized that safety is so important, and animals should always, always, always be handled with care. Our safety and theirs really matter. All right, remember that poll we started? We're going to go back now and see more results. It looks like most of our viewers are going with C, that snakes use a fox's abandoned burrow for a home, but a couple of you are holding on to the cuddle factor. I think it is time for us to find out. So Ru, thank you so much for bringing us into the field. Thank you for an incredible look at your work, and please thank your teammates and your sons for such incredible footage. We are so excited to have you here live to answer our questions from all of our students from around the globe. Ru, go ahead and give the audience a hello from Australia.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Jen.
Hey,
Well,
Ru.
it's nighttime here in Australia, and I'm still very excited to join you guys.
Yeah, we're so glad you're staying up late for us. Well, we want to ask you about today's poll. It said, how are the tiger snake and the fox connected? Can you confirm what the answer is for us, Ru?
Well, the correct answer for that is C, where the snakes use the abandoned the burrows and holes made by other animals. In this case, it was a fox. I love the idea of cuddling, but in this case, no, the answer is C.
All right, well, congratulations to those of you who were with the prediction of C. If you were guessing cuddling, it's okay. We all learned something new today. So thank you so much for participating in our poll. Ru, we are so glad to have you back from the field with us today, and it's time to kick off our Q&A portion of the show. If you are watching online, start typing your questions into the chat bar. We record them as long as they're sent in, so please only send your question once. And teachers, feel free to type on YouTube who's asking the question, where you're coming in from, because that way we can give you all a shout out. If you're on screen with us, get your voices nice and ready, because we're going to go to you live in just a moment when I call on you. Let's start with a question from a YouTuber named Luca. Luca lives in Washington, D.C. and says, Ru, I noticed your map shows a lot of different places for your field work, and you mentioned some of the reptiles you work with, but what other kind of reptiles do you study?
Oh, look, actually, we can show you. I have compiled a set of clips so you can have a better idea. Well, I love all reptiles. So we study from the smaller ones like these geckos that lives in cave systems. And the very special thing is that they all nest together. What you're seeing is hundreds and thousands of eggs laid together in these caves. So we study why they do that and how they do that. And another very fascinating reptile, a bit bigger, are the hump-nosed lizards. So I love these guys live in the high mountains of Sri Lanka. Why do they have this funny thing on their nose? What's the purpose? I'm very fascinated. And all the way to the biggest lizards, the Komodo dragons. They live in a tiny island called Komodo that belongs to Indonesia. And I love to learn how they survive in this tiny island, these big animals. Then I take down to the ocean, from land to the ocean. In the shallow oceans, we study sea kraits. Now, sea kraits are similar to sea snakes, but they can actually move on land, whereas sea snakes can't. So this is a banded sea krait, and it's a big study of ours. So are the turtles that feed in water. What do they feed on? How are they doing with global change? That's another interest of ours. And all the way to how they nest. This is a flatback turtle. They only nest in Australia. And as you can see, the mother is digging a nest using her back legs, and then she lays eggs. So we are looking at how many nest a year, how many eggs are laid, how many of them survive. And my interest in the water has also taken me to the deepest, one of the deeper parts of the ocean. This is in an island called Lombok, where we study a very, very special behavior of a sea snake that hunts in packs. Now, this is for the first time this has been studied, because snakes normally hunt alone, whereas these guys comes in a pack. Some of them flush the fish, some of them go and eat them, and they take turn. And some of them are very curious of us too, because you rarely see humans that deep in water. So these are some of my some of the studies that I do.
We have a question coming in from a YouTuber named Tracy. And Tracy says, Ru, you told us you are not scared of snakes, but are you scared of other animals or maybe bugs?
Well, I always have a very I'm respectfully scared of a lot of things when I still catch them, because you never know. Animals are unpredictable. These are wild animals we study. So it's not like a domesticated or a pet animal. They can do things that we don't expect. So although I'm more confident now, I'm still scared of a lot of things, most of the venomous animals. But out there in the wild, as you said, some of the bugs can actually harm you more. Mosquitoes, for example, I saw that a lot of you put bug spray as the thing to take to the field, which is absolutely correct, because mosquito bites and mosquito diseases are a bigger problem for a lot of us that works in the tropics than the actual animals we study.
All right, we have a question from a YouTuber named Axel from Albuquerque. And Axel wants to know, what is the most dangerous snake you have ever grabbed on purpose?
Okay, so some of the most venomous snakes in the world, like the inland taipan you get in Australia, are not necessarily the most dangerous snakes, right? So there are a lot of snakes that have a lot of venom, but hardly bite or never actually meet humans, because they live so far away from where humans live. The most dangerous snake in that sense that I have worked with would be a snake called the Russell's viper. So vipers, you get them in Africa, at the Americas, you have pit vipers, and rattlesnakes are type of vipers, and Asia. And they are big, they have big venom fangs, they are aggressive, as in if you cornered them or if you don't give them a chance, they would attack. And Russell's vipers kill a lot of humans in the Asian region, especially farmers that goes and harvest rice in the field. That's where most of the Russell vipers get together, because they come to eat the rats and the mice that harm agriculture. So you have a lot of encounters between farmers and Russell vipers. So I would consider the vipers as one of the most dangerous groups, and that's a group that we have studied.
Gosh, it sounds like maybe some of our scientists watching today should start studying vipers so that we can learn how to protect them and humans.
Absolutely.
Well, we've had so many good questions, and don't worry, audience, we're going to have time for more. But I was just thinking, Ru, we have such incredible kids watching today. Do you have any questions for them?
Actually, I do. Let me, as you saw, snakes are one of my favorite groups, but I study a broad group of reptiles, and crocodiles are another big interest of mine. So what I have here is a tiny head. Well, it's a head of a tiny crocodile. So I think we all have seen what big crocodiles and gators eat. What do you think the babies, the tiny ones, eat? I would love to hear your answers.
Crocodiles eat bugs, tiny
Baby
fish,
animals?
baby animals. No. I know. Circle of life. I have to be okay with it. We've got more insects.
Love it.
Mosquitoes. What is someone reading my mind? Other tiny crocodiles? Ah, cannibalistic. I don't know. Let's see if we can get one more. Come on, friends, one more guess.
Okay, dragonflies, shrimp,
Oh, croc
crocodiles.
eggs,
Ah,
shrimp.
that's a first.
Okay. Ru, do you want to tell us what the answer is?
Well, there are some very, very interesting answers. So cannibalism or eating their own kind is actually extremely common in the crocodile world. So a lot of bigger crocodiles eat their smaller crocodiles, sometimes their own babies actually. But babies of this size are almost insectivorous, meaning they actually eat insects, so bugs, all kinds of bugs, and to be honest, shrimps too. So any invertebrates, animals without a backbone that lives in water, that's what they hunt. So when they go a bit bigger, they start taking frogs and fish. And when they are really big, depending on where they live, they eat either bigger fish or big mammals like the African in the Nile crocodiles in Africa eat the wildebeest and the zebras, as you have seen. And in Australia, they even take cows and other big animals that comes to drink water.
I had no idea they ate things that big. That's insane. All right, let's go to one of our YouTube questions. Lauren is curious, Ru, what motivates you to be an explorer?
I love that. I love that question. For me, since I could walk, I have been actually interested in reptiles and animals. So I always wanted to be a scientist, and it's lovely that like my childhood hobby became a passion and then my career. What motivates me is there's so much out there that we don't know, especially with regard to animals like reptiles. Everyone likes their cute and cuddly animals, but not so the scaly, the creepy, the slimy ones. So I wanted to study them and see what are the challenges they have in surviving and how we can help. So that drive to save these animals, understand them, and educate other people about them is what drives me to be an explorer.
But Ru, what advice do you have for all of our viewers, these young explorers, as they start to make their mark in the world?
Well, judging from the questions I got and the passion I saw, it's very inspiring. I see there's going to be some amazing future scientists there. My advice is to follow your passions, keep going, work hard. But when it comes to reptiles, try to understand them, try to admire them, and learn about them, because they're not the cute and cuddly things that a lot of people like, but they need our help. So what you can do is read about them, find more details, and share your knowledge. Go to your backyard, look for lizards, admire them, and see what the interesting things they do, and be really curious of learning more about reptiles.
I know I am. Ru, thank you so much for being with us today and just sharing so much of your expertise with our audience.
Thank you so much for having me, Jen, and thank you everyone for the lovely questions and having me.
Also, thank you to all of our students, teachers, and homeschool families out there. You had such thoughtful questions that we want you to come back. Teachers, we would love to see your students' work. If your class has been inspired to create something based on our time today with Ru, please share it with us. You can also take action after every one of our Explorer Classroom events. So you can email us at explorerclassroom@ngs.org. We also have a very exciting Explorer Classroom season planned throughout this 2023 school year. So register with us at natgeoed.org/Explorer Classroom. When you register, you can request a chance to be on screen and featured with us like many of our classrooms were today. And next week, we're going to have two explorers, Explorer Gabby Salazar and Ross Donahue. And they're going to share about a recently discovered petrified forest in Guatemala. That sounds fascinating. Well, have a great day, everyone. Stay curious, keep exploring, and we'll see you next time.